So today we will start with Chief Seattle's speech, and I'll first start with the speech of the Chief Seattle. So just assume that Chief Seattle is speaking. Yonder sky has wept the tears of compassion upon my people from centuries untold. And whatever appears to be changeless and eternal may change. Today is fair. Tomorrow it may be overcast with clouds. My words are like stars that never change. Whatever Seattle says, the great chief at Washington can rely upon it with as much certainty as he can rely upon the change of the seasons and the coming of the sun. The white chief says that the big chief of Washington sends us the greetings of goodwill and friendship. This is kind of him, for we know that he has a little need of our friendship in return. His people are many. They are like the grass in the vast prairies. Our people are few. They are like the uprooted trees in the wind-swept storm. The great chief, and I presume the white chief, sends us wishes that he wants to buy the land, and with that he is willing us to allow to live comfortably also. This indeed appears to be generous, because the red man has no longer any rights, for the red man needs respect. And this offer may be wise also, because we are no longer in the need of vast and extensive country. There was a time when our people were like the waves of a wind-ruffled sea, which covers the floor of the ocean, shell-paved floor. But that time has passed, and the greatness of our tribe is not but a mournful memory. I'll not dwell upon, not mourn over our untimely decay. Neither I'll reproach my pale-faced brothers for hastening it, because I know that we too have something to do, something to blame for that. So this was rather a copy of starting of Chief Seattle's speech. In this speech, Chief Seattle is saying that the sky, yonder means distant sky, the distant sky has wept tears of compassion. Why? Because the greatness of a tribe has swept away. It has become a memory, a mournful memory. We decayed untimely. And what seems to us impossible, it may be possible, because today is fair. Why today is fair? Because today we have a proposal. We have a proposal from the white chief, and we have a proposal from the red chief to buy our land. So great chief sent white chief to buy our land. And that in that response, in that reaction, Seattle is speaking to his people. And Seattle is a representative of the Red Indians. So, what Seattle is saying, that the great chief at Washington can rely upon my words, and he can rely with such certainty as with the coming of the seasons and with the coming of the sun. So, Seattle furthermore says that White Chief has sent a generous offer to us, that he wants to buy our land. With that, he has sent an offer of goodwill and friendship also. So this is very kind of him, because his people are many. They are like the grasses of the prairies, and our people are like the uprooted trees in a windswept storm. So we are very few in numbers. Still, we don't deserve any rights. We are just asking for respect. But the great chief, the white chief, both are generous enough that they are buying the land, and they are allowing us to live in the vast country. So there was a time when our people were many, and they were like the waves of the wind ruffled sea, like waves of this wind ruffled sea covers the shell paved floor. Our peoples were such numerous in numbers that we covered the land like this. But now it is a mournful memory. Now we are no longer, and I will not blame my pale faced brothers for this, and I will not dwell upon this, because it's not the right time to do this. And the point is that only pale face brothers are not responsible for this. Our people are also responsible and are to be blamed for this. So this was explanation. So again I speak with the extract of the Chief Seattle. Youth is impulsive, and whenever our young men grow angry by some real or imaginary wrong, and they disguise themselves, their faces with black paints, it denotes that their heart are black. They are often cruel and relentless, and our old men and old women are unable to restrain them. It has ever been. Thus, it was when the white man began to push our forefathers westwards, ever westward. But let us hope that the hostilities between them and us never return. We would have everything to lose and nothing to gain. Revenge by the young men is considered a gain, even at the cost of their life. But old men and old women who stayed the home, the mothers who stayed the home, they know better the cost of the war. So here Chief Seattle is saying that it is to blame to us that our youth is not in the control of our mothers and fathers. They are unable to restrain them. They are disguising themselves, they are disguising their faces with black paints, and this shows that their heart is black. So Chief Seattle is saying that the Red Indian tribe youth are having black heart. And there was a time when there was hostilities, when our forefathers were pushed westward even. But they should never return, because we lose everything. We have nothing to gain, we have everything to lose. And generally youth considers that we gain with the war, but nothing is gained with the war, because the mothers and the fathers, the old people sitting in the home knows better the cost of the war. So again I take the extract from Chief Seidel. Our great father in Washington, for I presume he is now our father, since King George has moved his boundaries to the north, and he has sent the wishes that if we do what he desires, he'll protect us. His brave warriors will protect us. They will be like the bristling wall, and his wonderful ships will fill our harbors, so that their ancient enemies, the Hedas and the Shinshiamis, will never be able to frighten our women, children, and the old people. So thus in reality he will be our father. So here Chief Seidel is trying to say that whatever the white chief, the great chief, and the King George, obviously King George is willing to buy the land. If we do whatever he desires, then his brave soldiers will protect us. They will be like the bristling wall against the enemies that we are having in the north, the Hedas and the Shinshiamis, and they will never frighten us. They will never frighten us, our children, our old people, and our women. So he'll be our father also. So I again come to Seattle. But that can ever be? Your God is not our God. Your God loves your people and hates mine. He folds his strong hands about the pale face and leads their hand, such that the father leads the hand of the infant son. But he has forsaken his red children, if they really are his. Our God, the Great Spirit, has forsaken us. Your God makes your people wax stronger every day, and our people are like a ebbing tide, rapidly receding, and that will never return. Your God cannot protect our people. Our people seems to be orphans who can look nowhere for help. How can we brothers? How can your God awaken us in a dream of prosperity? If we have a common heavenly Father, he must be partial. He gave laws to his pale-faced children, and he has no words for his red children, whose teeming multitudes, once filled with vast continents as a start filled the firmaments. Now we are two distinct races, and we have separate destinies. There is a little common between us. So what Chief Seattle is saying? Chief Seattle is saying that your God is not my God. The God of my race is different and the God of your race is different, because your God helps you. He has given His hand, just like a father gives a hand to the infant. He protects you. You are getting wax stronger every day, and we are getting weaker like a receding tide every day. Your God is not going to help you, and if really we are His children, He has forsaken us. He don't remember us. And our God, the Great Spirit, has forsaken us. And if we do have a common Heavenly Father, He must be a partial God. So we cannot imagine that your God will think of our prosperity. No. We are receding. Our teeming altitudes once filled this continent and the firmaments, and the greatness of our race is no more. So we are two distinct races with different destinies. We don't have a common God. Neither we are brothers. Again I come to Seattle. To us the ashes of our ancestors are sacred, and their resting ground is a hallowed ground. You wander far away from the graves of your forefathers, of your ancestors, and seemingly without regret. Your religion was written upon the tablets with the iron finger of your God, so that you cannot forget. But the red man could never comprehend or remember your religion. Our religion is a tradition. Tradition of our ancestors, the dream of our old man, given by the Great Spirit. And given to the visitors and the sachems of our tribes. Our religion is written in the heart of our people. Your dead cease to live with you, and this country, native country, as they pass away. As they pass the portals of the tomb and they rise to the stars, they never return. They are soon forgotten, and they never return. But our dead never forget this beautiful word. They still love its verdant valleys, its murmuring rivers, magnificent mountain, sequestered vales, verdant lined lakes, bays. They are always found in the lonely hearted living people, and they visit to the happy hunting ground to console our people. So what Chief Seattle is saying, that your religion is totally different from our religion. Your religion was written by an iron finger on the tablet, and that a red man cannot comprehend. You, without regret, wander far away from the ashes of your forefathers. But where our forefathers are buried, that is a hallowed ground, that is a holy ground. Your forefathers, as they pass the portals of the tomb and as they rise up beyond the stars, you just forget them and they never return. But our forefathers, our dead people, never forget this word. They never forget this verdant valleys and the murmuring rivers, and they usually comes to the hunting grounds, and they come here to console, to live in the hearts of the people. So your religion is totally different from my religion. Again I come to the Seattle's Chief Seattle's speech part. Days and night cannot dwell together. The red man has always fled the white man, as the morning mist flees as the rising suns come. However, your proposition seems to be fair, and my people will accept it, and they will retire to the reservation you offer to them. Then we will dwell apart with peace. For the words of the great chief seems to be the words of the nature in the dense darkness. It matters a little that where we pass our remnant days, the Indian's night promises to be dark. Not a single star hovers above our origin. Sad voice winds moans to the distance. Grim fate seems to be on the red man's trial. And whenever we will hear the approaching footsteps of the fell destroyer, we will prepare solidly to meet the doom as the doe, wounded doe, that hears the footstep of the hunter. So what Chief Settle is trying to say, that the red man is night, the pale man is day, and days and night cannot dwell together. We are like the morning mist, you are like the sun. When you come, we disappear. But after all, your propositions might be fair, because we may dwell in peace after that, after accepting your propositions. The night of the Red Indians is dark. Sadness is our fate, and grim fate seems to be on the red man's trial. So, we are always prepared as we hear the sound of the fell destroyer, or we hear the sound of the pale faced brothers who will come to kill us, like the doe who prepares himself when the hunters come to him, and he prepares himself for his death. So that's why Chief Settle is trying to explain. Now again I come to the extract of the Chief Settle. A few more moons and a few more winters, and not one of the descendant will remain of the mighty host once moved over this broad land and lived in the happy homes protected by the Great Spirit, will remain to mourn over the graves of our people, once more powerful than yours. But why should I mourn over the untimely decay of our race? Tribe follows tribes, and nation follows nation, like the waves of the sea. So it is the order of the nature, and regret is useless. Your time of decay may be distant, but it will come. For even the white man whose God has walked with them as a friend and talked with them as a friend cannot be exempted from the common destiny. We may be the brothers after all. So here Chief Settle is expressing that there are not many days left for our race. Not a single Red Indian will be left to mourn on the graves. Once we were so powerful, we were protected by the Great Spirit. But now, after few days, after few winters, none of the Red Indians will be left. But why should I mourn on this? Because tribes follows tribes and nation follows nation. You have to face the same destiny. Your time of destruction may be far away, but it is also a fact that your God walked with you and talked with you like a friend. But you cannot avoid the common destiny. You cannot avoid the common destiny that the man has to face. So we will die earlier, you will die later, but you have to die. I again come to the Chief Settle's extract. We'll ponder these propositions and we'll decide and we'll let you know about it. But should we accept it? And here, and I now make a condition that we will never be denied the privilege without molestation of visiting any of the tombs of our ancestors. Friends and children, every part of this soil is sacred. Every plane and groove has been hollowed by the sad or happy memory. Even the rocks which seem to be dumb and dead, and they swelter in the sun along the silent shore, they thrill with the memories of the stirring events connected with the lives of the people. And the very dust upon which you stand is more connected with the life of my people. It understands the footsteps of my people than yours, because it is rich with the blood of my ancestors and their sympathetic touch. Our departed brave fond mothers, glad happy maidens, and even the little children who have lived and rejoiced here, they will love these somber solitudes, and at eventides evenings they will welcome the great shadowy spirits. And when the last red man will perish and our race will become a myth in the minds of the white man, then the shores will be swarmed with the invisible dead man of my tribe. And whenever your children will think that they are alone in the field, in the store, in the highways, they will never be alone. There is no place in the earth that will be deserted to solitude, dedicated to solitude. At night, in the streets, when your children in the villages, you think that you are deserted, then our dead man will be the returning hosts who once lived in this beautiful land. White man will never be alone. So let them be just and deal kindly with my people, for the dead are not powerless. Dead, did I say? There is no death. It's only a change of word. So what Chief Settle is trying to, and here I hand the extract of Chief Settle. What Chief Settle is trying to express, Chief Settle is trying to say that this soil understands more our ancestors than you, because you are new to this soil. This soil is rich with the blood of my ancestors. Why should we accept this? We should accept this, but we will have a condition. What will be that condition? That condition will be that we will never be denied with the privilege, without any molestation, of visiting the graves of our friends and fathers and forefathers. These valleys and even the rocks understands more red men than the white man, because they are connected with the happy moments and the sad moments of our memory. They swelter in the sun. They seems to be dumb to you, but they are filled with the memories of the tribes of the red man that are passed in the old days. And when the last man of our tribe will be dead, they will return back to this land. Our maidens and women at eventide, they welcome the spirits that come from the heavens. And when will perish from this earth, then the white man will never be alone. We'll always be with him. Because when you think that you are alone in the malls, you are alone in the cities, you are alone in the villages, our spirits will be with you. So behave just with us, because death is just a change of words. So this is what the extract of Cheif Settle was, and I have tried to explain to you line by line. Thank you so much for this.